Now on CoastTV News.
Milford development debate.
I think it would be a great opportunity for people looking for somewhere to live.
A 39 townhome project getting pushback.
Shallow water.
The policies we put in place are really to try to keep everyone safe.
Rip currents and lifeguard shortages in Ocean City lead to restrictions.
Wind turbine setback. The federal government plans to pull approval for a major offshore wind project near Ocean City.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Open land in Milford and the plan for it up in the air tonight. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with a plan for 39 townhomes in Milford. On your screen now is Truitt Avenue between Northwest 3rd Street and Northwest 6th Street in Milford, where the subdivision could go.
And that's the area where Carlisle Lane LLC wants to build 39 townhomes. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live there. Emma, Milford neighbors have mixed feelings about that number and the development altogether.
Maddie, this is the land that's been the subject of a lot of back and forth between neighbors here, the property owner, and the city of Milford. Just last week, the Planning Commission voted 4-1 to recommend that the City Council deny this development here. Tonight, we'll know if the City Council decides to do that or not. This grass could soon be the foundation of new housing. Carlisle Lane LLC wants to transform the open land off of Truitt Avenue in Milford into 39 townhomes. Maura Cleary lives right next to the proposed development. When learning of the plan, Cleary says she was in shock.
Matter of fact, we are actually wondering whether perhaps we need to look to sell and move before this happens.
The Board of Adjustment previously approved 32 variances to the plan, including density, width, and lot coverage. Then, last week, the Planning Commission voted to recommend that the City Council deny this development, citing concerns over density, parking, and proximity to wetlands, according to the city. Cleary says she still worries about some of those things.
We feel that 39 is too many. If they wanted to build 15, 18, even up to 20, we would be more accepting.
But landowner Matt Find tells us his plan is already much less dense than it could be. Find says 12 units per acre is the city's rule. His plan right now is at 8 units per acre. This is the roughly 4.5 acres of land that the development would go on. The landowner tells us each of the 39 townhomes would have an unfinished basement plus 2 floors on top of that. And he says the target area for the prices of these places is roughly $300,000. Jordan Riddick says he's seen the land empty for years and wouldn't mind some new neighbors.
I think it would be a great opportunity for people looking for somewhere to live, you know. It's a nice neighborhood around here. Everybody's pretty quiet for the most part.
Tonight, City Council will hear from the public and could decide whether this patch of green remains a quiet field or becomes the foundation for a new chapter in Milford's growth. The City Council meeting is tonight at 6:30. If approved, it still needs some more approvals from the Fire Marshal's office and the Conservation District. If denied, the landowner tells us he's not giving up and he'll head back to the drawing board. Reporting live here in Milford, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
At that meeting, the City of Milford will review an ordinance proposing changes to part of the city code about electric rules and regulations. Follow me on this one. The amendment aims to align local policy with a Delaware House bill. That's a new state law that updates rules for utility shutoffs, including restrictions during certain hours, holidays, and weather conditions.
On Monday, beachgoers in Ocean City were only allowed to go into the water up to their knees, though there is an exception for professional surfers. That, according to the Beach Patrol. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zapay is live in Ocean City. Kevin, Beach Patrol also dealing with another challenge. They're just understaffed right now.
Charlie, restrictions are still in place along the Ocean City beach. And according to the Beach Patrol, it's probably due to 2 main factors: strong rip currents and fewer lifeguards. According to Beach Patrol Captain Butch Arbin, last week 90 lifeguard stands were being utilized. Today, only around 30. That means each lifeguard has to watch a much larger area of the ocean. As a result, beachgoers were limited to knee-height water, a restriction that left some vacationers disappointed.
We came here for a day trip and we're hoping to test out the water. I just wanted to experience getting, hit by the waves and I got called back when the water was up to my waist.
The Ocean City Beach Patrol will continue to monitor conditions before lifting any restrictions. I'm Kevin Zapay, live in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, when you go to the beach, what do you usually do when you get
in the
there?
water?
How do you handle that?
Let's take a look at the results so far. 39% say they swim near lifeguards, 12% say they swim wherever, and 49% say they stay on shore. Those have changed a little bit since our 5 o'clock hour.
And those numbers always shift around. Be a part of this. Go vote right now at coasttv.com or use our mobile app. You can also leave us a comment.
Flooding hit Fenwick Island hard during Hurricane Erin last week, and now town leaders are pushing for potential flooding fixes. Kayaks went down North Shoals Road in Fenwick Island on Friday. You can see it right there. Neighbors gave us this video to show just how deep the water was during the storms. Town leaders approved 2 flooding project ideas, including a flood mitigation for the end of Farmington Street and to start talking about creating a town resiliency fund.
I think as a solution, definitely it's something that's going to require collective problem solving and, a concerted effort of all the neighbors. I think one idea that to me makes sense is building vinyl bulkheads around, every house in the town.
Fenwick Island says they're expecting to start work on the project on Farmington Street next month. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Ocean City as we turn it over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you, Maddie. And we're staying pretty clear at this particular juncture. Now, we've gotten rid of Erin from its immediate threat, so to speak, but the residual effects of the waters eventually going down and dealing with some rip current concerns, that's in the forefront for right now. In Milford, though, that's not necessarily the case. Too far inland to be concerned about that. We're going to drop to 71 degrees under mostly clear skies by 10 o'clock. Winds are not swirling that aggressively, but at about 10 to 13 mile per hour gusts. We're at 77 Bethany Beach, 83 Milton, and in Georgetown, 82 degrees currently in Delmar, Laurel, and in Gumboro. We're looking at 4 to 5 foot waves for right now. We have some rip current advisories to tell you about, as well as concerns about gusty winds. We'll take up that coming up in our next weather segment.
All right, Paul, thank you. The Trump administration is planning to withdraw approval for the wind farm planned off the coast of Ocean City. That came in a court filing Friday. Coast TV News anchor Christina D. Robertus is in the newsroom. Christina, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi submitted a filing in a pending case in U.S. District Court in Delaware.
Yes, Pam Bondi argues that a case against the federal government and U.S. Wind should be stayed because she says the feds plan to revoke a permit for an offshore wind project off the coast of Maryland. And that permit is really necessary for construction to begin on more than 100 wind turbines about 10 miles off the coast of Ocean City. The project has been facing pushback for years, with several moves in recent months from the federal government, the Worcester County government, and the towns of Ocean City and Fenwick Island trying to delay and stop this. Now, the Attorney General said in that filing that the plan is to pull U.S. Wind's approval by September 12th. And we are hearing from U.S. Wind today reacting to this. U.S. Wind saying in a statement, our construction operations plan approval is the subject of ongoing litigation, but we remain confident that the federal permits we secured after a multi-year and rigorous public review process are legally sound, unquote. Again, Pam Bondi says the plan is to pull the U.S. Wind approval by September 12th. Back to you guys.
Governor Matt Meyer is nominating Brigadier General Karen A. Berry to serve as the first cabinet secretary of the newly created Delaware Department of Veterans Affairs. Berry retired from the National Guard in 2023 after more than 30 years of service.
A majority of Delawareans are concerned about climate change. That's according to a new statewide survey by DENREC. Results say 74% are concerned, 79% see climate change as a serious threat, which is an increase from a similar 2019 state survey. Surveyors say 58 believe climate change will affect them personally. 55% of respondents say they've observed local impacts, and 59% support offshore wind energy. The survey included 1,520 Delawareans, and for more on this, we do have an article up on coasttv.com.
According to the Delaware Seashore State Park, all surf fishing drive-ons, they're now opened. This included both Delaware Seashore and Fenwick Island State Park. Most crossings at Cape Henlopen are reopened. Navy Crossing, that one is still closed.
Bay Health has teamed up with local agencies to create a Delaware mini medical school. It's a 6-week virtual series which will be open to middle school, high school, and college students. The sessions will be held on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Starting September 10th, Bay Health says anyone who completes all 6 sessions will have the opportunity to join the Delaware Youth Medical Academy.
As construction on the family courthouse continues in Georgetown, a very special commemoration. Here's a look inside a time capsule. Before it was sealed, you can see an annual report from 2024. That's on the left, along with some other documents. The new family courthouse, that's set to open at the end of the year.
Attention Milford drivers, the city says work is scheduled to begin this week. This is on Rehoboth Boulevard, where message boards are in place to notify drivers that construction on various crossings there will begin. The city says just plan for delays in that area.
Keeping bikes off the sidewalk, that's what Ocean City is going to discuss on Tuesday, and here is the reason why this is key. Starting October 1, the state of Maryland is going to allow bikes to ride on the sidewalks, but the town of Ocean City is considering its own rule that would negate that. According to the agenda, most of the sidewalks are narrow and too busy, but not everybody agrees.
I do think they should be allowed, or better yet, even though there is a designated lane, I feel like, if they had something a little bit more specific just for bikers. So I think the bike lane's for the bus as well, I'm not sure. So that to me, if they just had something specifically for bikes, it would be extremely helpful, I think.
The council will discuss tomorrow at 1 p.m.
And we have more news to get to this evening.
2 sea turtles spotted at a nature center in Slaughter Beach. Why they made their way into our waters.
Aaron may be gone, but the threat of rip currents remain at the beaches. I'll show you why coming up.
But first, a groundbreaking at the Nanticoke Indian Center near Millsboro. How this project hopes to connect history. We're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Today, ground was broken on new additions to the Nanticoke Indian Center near Millsboro. The expansion is funded by around $3 million in state, federal, and local contributions.
The groundbreaking had a blessing of the grounds around Friendship Dance and was a real celebration of years of fundraising and hard work for the tribe.
Tribe historian Dr. Bonnie Hall says the project hopes to connect the centuries-long history of the Nanticoke with the entire community.
We really want to provide the public with an opportunity to get to know us as their neighbors, and more importantly, to be able to have a better appreciation for who we are as a people.
The expansion will be connected to the existing building and aims to be a true community center for the tribe, serving as a place for child and elder care, food donations, and education.
Here's a look at your golf forecast. We're expecting clearing skies, actually beautiful conditions, excellent conditions, temperatures in the upper 70s, spectacular sunshine, and just mild all day long. Well, thank goodness we're no longer wrestling with Aaron this week, but we still have some residual effects from the battle, so to speak. A couple of advisories I need to pass along to you, and they're pretty much going to expire by tonight, but we still need to be very conscientious if we're going to be out in the water. All right, so in Rehoboth Beach, 79 degrees, dew point temperature 67, so we're looking at a relatively dry atmosphere, and we're going to drop to 72 degrees as early as 10 o'clock. Take a look at these temperatures. We're at 83 in Georgetown right now, but also at 83 degrees in Seaford at this present time, and in Long Neck we're holding at 83 degrees, Ocean Pines as well. The wind's relatively light. We have gusts up to like 12, 13 miles per hour gusts, but generally speaking, we're looking at a general swirling action, particularly right off of the water as the cold front is pushing through. Now, the residual effects of Aaron that's still left over that we have to deal with for the rest of tonight, rip currents. Dangerous rip currents still activated from Lewis Beach, Rehoboth, Bottom Hills, Ocean View down towards Fenwick Island. Now, we got to continue to keep in mind that this is going to continue to be a concern for us until about 8 o'clock. Now, we also have beach hazard statement, which is pretty much the same situation, rip currents and somewhat high surf. That's going to be a concern until about 8 o'clock. Small craft advisory, watching out for 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's for the coast, for Dewey Beach, Bottom Hills, all the way down towards Fenwick Island, but not expecting that anywhere else. The cold front's pushing through, and the coastal flood advisories have been allowed to expire. Still got some leftover flooding. I'm aware of that, but we're not expecting any additional flooding to occur as the water slowly recedes from our neck of the woods. By the way, for this week, we're going to be more concerned about the UV index. It's going to be a level 8 for the next 4 to 5 days in a row. You will need your sunblock. Mostly sunny skies, winds out of the north. We're looking at temperatures in the 70s, 78 for us in Cambridge, and we're expecting 79 degrees in Snow Hill. And as you take a quick peek at what we're expecting Tuesday morning, we'll start off in the 70s, upper 70s for the high. And then on Wednesday, we're only going to climb into the mid 70s for the high. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Get ready, baseball fans, because it's a big week for the Phillies. In fact, Philadelphia starts potentially its biggest series of the entire summer tonight. The Phillies visit the Mets in the first battle of a 3-game road trip with a whole lot on the line. Philadelphia currently owns a 7-game lead over New York for first place in the NL East division. With just over a month left in the season, that's a fairly safe edge, but far from a guarantee, especially since the two teams play another 4 games in 2 weeks. If the Phillies sweep this current 3-game series, then they'll be in great shape. If they get swept, well, the door opens back up for the Mets. So far this year, New York owns a 4-2 advantage over Philadelphia, but the Mets are extra dangerous right now. Shortstop Francisco Lindor has batted .471 over the last 2 weeks, the best mark in the entire major leagues. If he's hot, New York will likely be as well. Christopher Sanchez is the starting pitcher for the Phillies, while Kadai Senga is on the bump for the Mets. For scores and updates from all the teams in the region, check out the final score tonight at 10:30 over on DSN. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night, Delmarva.
Soaring Over the Shore is sponsored by Morse Roofing and Siding.
Did you know Fenwick Island has its own lighthouse? It was built in the 1850s to try and help stop shipwrecks. Originally, the lighthouse could be seen 15 miles into the ocean due to its lens. It was decommissioned in 1978, and in 1982, a symbolic light was placed in the tower, relit with electricity. The lighthouse is a beloved landmark in Fenwick and managed by volunteers now, and even open for visitors in the summer.
A rare sighting at the DuPont Nature Center. 2 green sea turtles spotted cruising the Maspilian Harbor. Check this picture out on your screen. This is just one of the turtles that was found in the water. The center says these endangered travelers usually stick south, but they are likely looking for something to eat. Me too.
Me 3. That's right. Take a look. Ocean City Dry Tech camera. We're looking at conditions staying very calm. Pardon me, we're going to stay clear until the sun goes down, and then we'll have a few lake clouds in Ocean City right around, let's say, 71 degrees in around the 10 o'clock hour. Now, we are looking for an umbrella giveaway winner. Sorry about that. We'll show you at 11 o'clock. Keep up with our forecast with our weather line, and as you take a look at what's happening with our 10-day forecast, we're looking for a high of 80 degrees on Tuesday, Wednesday 79, then we drop down to a very chilly 54 degrees overnight, and then we're going to have a taste of fall for the rest of the work week going all the way into Labor Day with temperatures hovering in the 70s. Overnight lows will be in the 50s, and with the winds pushing primarily out of the north, it's going to be a bit of a chilly breeze that will greet us throughout the late night hours. All this work week, particularly kicking in by Wednesday going through the weekend.
Looks great. Thanks, Paul, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.